At the forefront of the NATO defense ministerial in Brussels, conflicts past, present, and future, from lessons learned in Afghanistan to Russia breaking diplomatic ties with NATO this week amid aggression on the alliance's eastern flank, to growing concerns about a potential war between China and Taiwan.
Nobody wants to see cross-strait issues come to blows, certainly not President Biden, and there's no reason that it should.
Defense Secretary Lloyd told reporters Friday in Brussels the United States remains committed to bolstering Taiwan's defensive military capabilities. He also reaffirmed America's support for the sovereignty of U.S. allies fighting Russian aggression. Prior to the NATO talks, Austin made stops this week in Romania, a NATO ally bordering the Black Sea, as well as Georgia and Ukraine, two partners partially occupied by Russian and Russian-backed forces. Max Bergmann of Washington-based think tank Center for American Progress says the stops are a sign that warm relations with Russia are not on the horizon.
I think the Biden administration, perhaps early on, maybe overdid it a little bit, raised a little bit of concern among some in Eastern Europe that it wasn't super focused on Russia and on the concerns of Eastern Europe. Any of those concerns should now sort of go away.
This week's NATO defense ministerial was the first since the coalition's chaotic withdrawal from Afghanistan, which has drawn widespread criticism. Bergmann calls the fallout a, quote, dark period in the NATO alliance.
I think Afghanistan has definitely been a strain on the alliance. Look, Europeans felt that they weren't adequately consulted, and they felt that this was in some ways a unilateral decision by President Biden to withdraw.
And Afghan veteran Bradley Bowman of Washington-based think tank Foundation for Defense of Democracies says the episode opened up the U.S. to criticism that it is a fickle and unreliable partner.
There's no doubt that America's reputation as a result of the horrible decision that the Biden administration made in Afghanistan has been tarnished. I think it's been tarnished in Europe, and it's been tarnished around the world.
The Taliban is back in power. Several hard-fought gains in Afghanistan eroded. And reports now say hundreds of Americans and thousands of Afghans who partnered with the U.S. were left behind. Austin said the U.S. has a moral responsibility to help those who stood with America.
We're not finished. We'll continue our work, and so we'll work as hard and as long as we need to take care of as many people as we possibly can.
U.S. evacuation capabilities have been limited since American troops exited. U.S. military forces helped evacuate more than 100,000 people from the war-torn country during the last 2 weeks of August. Carla Babb, VOA News, the Pentagon.